imagination in the olden days when catamarans sailed from Tamil Nadu, India to Far East, to Cambodia, to Vietnam, Malaysia, and the Vikings sailed from Denmark, Norway, and Sweden to far off places. These are all signs and symbols of globalizations found in archaeology. But modern days of globalization, where YouTube in cyberspace is abounding and making us all closer, there are multinational companies springing everywhere, and these multinational companies, nearly 500 of them, if they have to grow, they have to go where growth is. That is what is happening today. But how they operate in these countries is very important for business management. A professor of business management, his name is Cyril Bouquet of Schulich School of Business Management in York University, Toronto, has done a good book on building global mindsets, and attention-based perspective. He has done a research comparing a pilot to the chief executives of these multinational companies. Suppose a pilot is flying without checking his fuel tank, he lands in trouble. And however experienced he may be, he will be in trouble. So the pilot has to have all the details in his focus. Likewise, the multinational companies' executives have to have all the details of the company and the land where they operate, what's going on. If they fail to notice what is going on, they can land and crash, like a pilot lands his plane down in a crash. This is the attention mechanism, which is dealt with economically, socially, psychologically by Cyril Bouquet. Professor Cyril Bouquet of this York University has done a research. He has done a thesis first, and then he's published some books. The one I am talking about is this building global mindsets. It deals with things which are very relevant to modern management in multinational companies. It deals with economics, organization theory, and he goes on to describe how to develop a construct about these attention structures. He has done interviews, cross-national surveys, and analyzed them statistically. Actually, he teaches research methods and statistics at this university. And then post hoc, he has made interviews too, based on that. The top management needs to have this attention structure. If you are not aware what is going on in your company or the place where you operate, you cannot survive. Your company cannot survive. This professor who introduces this book has told that Cyril was able to develop new insights into how global mindset is developed and how valuable it is to the multinational company. The results are clear-cut. If you want the executives to devote their attention to international issues, don't assume that they will automatically pick up cues from the international environment in which they are working. Instead, you need to invest in the so-called attention structures that cannot execute the attention and time. They cannot devote time and attention unless these structures are there to the salient issues. Cyril work is the first time he has done a systematic construction of his mental construct called global mindset and attention structure, and he has shown by his research how important it is to have these attention structures working in multinational companies. His findings are insightful and it is very grounded in academic literature, but it's of evaluating the spending on health. Cyril Bouquet will do, and his researchers will do well to do research on how welfare spending is focused. They are cliche dominated. Vote banks suck this welfare. But as a liberal person, one would think how the economics of this welfare is working. Is it yielding results? For example, in Scandinavian countries we have welfare. In Canada they have welfare. In England they have welfare. In Australia they have welfare. In America in another modified form they have welfare. And India and everywhere they are aping, imitating. And these welfare structures, how they operate like multinational companies, to create vote banks, and how the system works, how the yield is their benefit. In spite of 30 or 40 years of welfare, the addiction to narcotics, drunken behavior, alcoholism, and the social backwardness still exists. So the welfare has not removed, in spite of huge spending on the government budgets. They are not eating kind of things. Like in multinational companies, they have a global mindset to operate, attention structures to focus on. Like Professor Cyril Bouquet has developed, new techniques are needed to find out what we are spending. Do they work? Or we have to have an Ayn Rand to come and tell us it doesn't work. Capitalism is the best. We have to find out how the welfare is working and why it is not working, and what are the mindsets of these people who operate as executives in this welfare system of the governments, which are boasting about their welfare. Are they working? He and his colleagues will do well to do further research on this. Already in Denmark they have started welfare funding and research, and how the welfare is